Greetings, gamers, and welcome back to an episode of Perfect Date. I am Lydia of Magic Missile Games, and I am here to hopefully figure out what is going on Cat Island. When last we left our intrepid hero, Lydia, she had seen 3% of the game and literally done very little. So let's get back into it. Meow. So we had to rest because I did 3 things, and the last time we tried to do something, it gave us that alert. If you choose to continue, it could have negative consequences. So we're gonna go ahead and choose to rest. You had a lovely nap and wake up feeling revitalized. Your energy has been restored. Magic! So let's start the day with some good old romance. Snooty Booty is still broken-hearted, so it's possible that the first cat you pick is the one you're stuck with for the chapter. So we will see. I guess we'll pick McMurphy and bother him again. Oh, do you hear the cat guitar in the background? That's amazing. I'm sweltering in the mess tent. Typical for me to get cook duty on the hottest day so far. I step out for a moment to try and catch some air. Psst. I'm not sure if I really heard something or if the dehydration is getting to me. I take a swig from my water bottle. Hey, aren't you gonna share, Kara? Oh, McMurphy, was that you psting? What are you suggesting, Kara? I only use the designated letter areas. Murph, you are incorrigible. You know exactly what I meant. Oh, come on, Kara. Never mind all that. We have work to do. I am working. I'm supposed to be cooking for this evening. I mean work of the adventure and variety. Oh, of course you do. Oh, come on, don't be such a bore. I'm sorry, McMurphy, but I can't. I'm very busy here. It's gonna take hours to defrost and braise this meat from the mainland. Yes, hours to cook for 4 people. Well, if you come with me, you may end up providing a much tastier dish in half the time. What do you say, Kara? You up for a click? What are you saying? You mean I should just bunk off? That's the spirit! Strip off your apron, let's hit the trail. I can't just... What if someone comes looking for me? Leave him a note! Gone fishing! Maybe it's the heat, but I'm overcome with a moment of madness. Well, okay then, you wild Irish rover, I'm all yours. Adorable. Oh my! Oh no, there's a thought. Wink. What? How would that even work? Before I can answer, he's slunk into the thickening of the forest behind the clay cooking pits. I whip off my apron and follow behind. Wait, Murph, it's too hot to run. Well, then we really ought to cool ourselves off, eh? He's led me up the cliffs, and without warning, takes a running jump off the edge. I see him flying through the air and watch mesmerized as he cuts through the water, because we all know how much cats love swimming. Oh no, Murphy, are you okay? Don't panic, I'm coming! I kick off my flip-flops and shorts and follow him into the water. I'm surprised at how shallow it is, and that I'm easily able to stand. Murph, where are you? I frantically search about, fearing for his safety, and suddenly feel something brush against my legs, making me scream out loud. What's that? I look down into the clear water and see McMurphy speeding along the seabed like a shark, fast and sleek, and suddenly breaking up through the surface with something in his mouth. Oh, how nice he's doing the fishing. McMurphy, you could swim? What on earth is that thing? Oh my, it's a fish! I can see he's smiling even with the sprat in the way. You can fish? He spits the fish back into the water. There truly is no end to my talents, Kara. You could say that again, but I have so many questions I don't even know where to start. Catch your breath, Kara. I know I'm exhilarating company, but you need to exercise a wee bit of restraint, or you'll be swooning on me next. Relax. The salt water is very buoyant. I copy McMurphy, and we both lie with our backs on the surface. It's very calming and tranquil, and I'm finally able to collect my thoughts. I realize I've not had this much clarity in a long time. This is so cool. I know. Trixie took me here first. Calls it the Ponder Pool. Oh, can you all swim then? I thought cats... Before I can even finish my sentence, McMurphy cuts in. It's a common misconception that cats can't swim. As you can see, it's another thing we excel at. So humble, too. As Nana McMurphy used to say, if you've got a trumpet, blow it. What about the fish? Where did they come from? There are no birds or fish on this island. It's one of the first things they tell you in orientation. That's just because they don't know. Don't know what? It's better if I just show ya. Come on, Kara, follow me. We swim for a while, with McMurphy leading the way with purpose, and then he stops. Well, notice anything interesting? Well, the water is much cooler and deeper here. Anything else? Can you feel anything? I stand perfectly still for a moment and begin to feel a strange sensation around my legs, like a worm trickling under the water. McMurphy, are you peeing? Don't be so crude, Kara. It's a current. Look over there. I refocus my eyes until they see what I thought was a rock shadow is moving. It comes closer into focus, and I realize it's a shoal of small fish, darting in and out of one particular spot. What is that? I don't understand what I'm looking at. Isn't it enough just to see, Kara? To experience? Do I always have to understand everything? Well, yes. That's who I am, McMurphy. I'm a scientist. It's in my DNA to seek to understand. Well, come on then, scientist. Let's take a closer look. We move closer to the area where the fish are gathered. I put my hand down and realize I could touch them and even pick them up, but something is stopping them from swimming further inland. McMurphy, we need to get going. I'm gonna be in big trouble if I'm away for any longer. But thank you for showing me this. I'm definitely gonna come back here to try to understand it. I wouldn't waste your time, Kara. It wouldn't be a waste. I'm committing to finding out all I... He cuts across me as I'm speaking. He does that a lot. You're so rude, McMurphy. I meant coming back to this particular spot. The fishies won't be here. Ah, I see. It's only at certain times. And different locations. It changes all the time. There's no pattern to it either. So you'd be sticking pins in maps, Kara. Brought you here because I saw him this morning. Chances are they'll be gone by this afternoon. Disappointment must have been apparent on my face, because McMurphy switches lanes super fast to distract me. Okay, Kara, it's time to strip off. Huh? A t-shirt would make a lovely net. Let's go fishing. Oh, I see. What the hey? I whip off my top and use it as a net to scoop up as many fish as possible. It's quite effective. It's super effective! Great idea, Murph. Now you can rustle up a tasty fish supper in no time at all, and you get to enjoy my company for an extra hour. Win-win, Kara. Okay, so now I have a little challenge for you. That, Kara, is music to my ears. There's little I like more than a gauntlet thrown. Well, it's hardly a gauntlet, more a brain teaser. How am I going to explain to the rest of my team this bountiful ocean offering? Why tell them anything at all? Because they're gonna notice that we're eating something that wasn't on the delivery list or the menu rota and tastes way too fresh for something recently defrosted. You worry far too much about things that don't really matter, Kara. I know he's right. I could do with loosening up a little, but this is a pretty big dilemma, really. Maybe I ought to tell Professor Popper about this. What's the harm? Mac has stopped splashing around and looks me squarely in the eyes. There would be harm, Kara. Trust me on that. Oh my, you don't like Professor Popper. Why? What did he do? Did he turn you into a cat? Obviously, I don't mean I'd tell him about you or anything that would endanger any of us. Just that I noticed this shoal of fishes and I took some, end of. You really think you could mention a phenomenon like this and that would be the end of it? That he wouldn't start putting all manner of investigations and disruptions in place? You are touchingly naive, my friend. I feel myself blush. I am being a bit naive, but I don't like the thought of lying. So what do you suggest then if you know so much about everything? Give me a plausible story and I'll follow through. McMurphy lets out a wild howl and splashes water at me. Now that's what I like to hear, you impetuous daredevil, you! I splash him back and a furious water fight ensues. We are making such a ruckus, I'm amazed no one comes to check what's going on. After a good 10 minutes of laughter and play, we run out of steam and float in the buoyant, warm water. And all the fish escape. Because where are they? They're in my t-shirt. Where did I put them? Hopefully somewhere I can get them. Well, let's hear it then, Oz. What's my cover story? It's a very simple case of brazen bluffing. Okay. Make a simple but delicious meal, and if anyone should ask where the fish came from, shrug your shoulders and ask the same question. Huh? It's all in the poker face. You remain completely impassive and ask the same question. Yeah, I wondered that too. Where did the fish come from? They're delicious. Really? Trust me, Kara, as a cat who is forever risking one of his 9, the simpler you keep it, the more they buy it. If they ask you where you got them from, you tell them the fridge. Simple. I feel quite giddy at the prospect of getting away with a ruse. Okay, Murph, let's gather the supper. We have an abundance in no time, and I haul my catch back to the kitchen in good time to make a tasty meal for everyone, and a little extra for my feline pals. Okay, any new options here? Nope, still McMurphy. Question mark. How do I unlock you? Do I have to play this through multiple times? Maybe. Let's do some recon. Okay, that one's complete, so recon 4. Which was talking to the security guard. That security guard I met when I arrived might be a good lead. Time for a bit of interrogation work. Why is there a security guard on a desolate island in the middle of nowhere with like 4 people on it? Curiouser and curiouser, guys. I've been staring at the back of his head for a long time now. Too long. I'm starting to feel creepy. All he does is sit in a chair by the dock, eating egg sandwiches and doing crossword puzzles. How does a man like that become the security guard for a place like this? As far as I can tell, his job consists of greeting the boat to make sure nothing unauthorized gets on or off of it, picking up supply deliveries, and occasionally taking a long, lazy lap of the island to make sure everything's secure. I'm glad I'm wondering in the game what I'm wondering in real life. Seriously, what is this guy's job? I wonder what he knows about the research that goes on here, if anything. He doesn't seem to be interested, regardless. I decide it's time to get to know this island bouncer and go to join him at the dock. I sit next to Zane, me on the sand, him in that chair. You know the one. He's not wearing his big coat. And the short-sleeved shirt allows me to notice for the first time how surprisingly muscular he is. I never truly thought of him as security in the bodyguard sense. But now, squinting at him sideways, trying not to stare too obviously, I begin to see him in a new light. I love that his security guard patch has a little cat on it. I don't know how I feel about the cat's nose being an X. It kind of almost looks like little tiny paws are muting the cat. I wonder if that's a clue, or if I'm thinking too much into it, as usual. I pluck up the courage to talk. Hey, Zane, how are you? I don't remember what voice I did for him, so I'm just gonna have to make one up real quick. Are you trying to start a conversation? He says this without looking up from his crossword puzzle. Oh, I suppose I am, yes. I don't get to chat to humans much in my job. Research Assistant 125. He rolls the words out like he's reading them. Oh, yeah, I guess that's me. So what's the number stand for anyway? You don't know? He asks monotonously. Oh, good, monotony. Eyes still glued to his crossword puzzle. No, actually, to be honest, Zane, I don't know much at all. There's a definite lack of intel sharing on this project. Which project would that be? This one? This whole research project that's going on? Is there more than one? Depends on who you ask. I was just asking you, really. I don't understand your job. I don't need to. I don't care about things I don't need to. What do you care about? Zane looks at me for the first time. You really want to talk, don't you? Well, there's not much else to do here. Besides, I'm interested in it all, aren't you? My interests consist of what's for dinner and when my next puzzle book's coming. When it's coming, you get it delivered? Comes with the mail. He's back to not looking at me again. The mail? You mean the parcels? And the letters, yeah. The letters? Who would go to the trouble of sending mail all the way out here when we have email? I laugh, but Zane looks very serious. It's safer sending mail the old-fashioned way. With email, there's viruses, hackers, worms, cyber-terrorists. I get the feeling he's not very tech-savvy. Yeah, but anyone can open and read a letter, right? Not if I'm around. Besides, who would suspect that something important would be in a fragrant pink envelope? There's an awkward silence. Of course, being my usual socially inept self. I'm desperate to fill it. Need any help with that crossword? I'm pretty good. I can even do the cryptic puzzle in the Daily Inquirer. This line usually gains me a little kudos, but Zane simply ignores me. I decide to just come out and say what's on my mind. I mean, it can't make things any more awkward than they already are. Can it, though? It probably can. Zane, have you ever noticed anything strange going on here? Cats behaving weirdly? Zane suddenly looks up, his eyes locking straight on mine, unwavering and hard. No. Have you? Not exactly, but... He's looking at me properly. For the first time since we met. I've definitely captured his attention, but I'm too nervous to follow through. I'm just being silly. The lack of human company could get to me. It gives me daft ideas. Such as... He's still staring at me as though he's trying to read my mind. Sometimes when I'm out tagging, I feel they're playing games on me, like children, hide and seek, that kind of thing. Some of those cats may be cleverer than any of us give them credit for. Now it's my turn to be intrigued. In what way? They know when to stay out of the sun. You're going pink. The moment, if there was one, is over. I decide maybe Zane isn't the best person to talk to about my concerns. Feeling unwanted and slightly dejected, I decide to head back to camp. I stand up and brush the sand off me. What's a 5-letter word for solitude? Alone. Zane silently scribbles in his book as I leave. Wow, that went great. Just awesomely wonderful. We are so good at everything, guys. I want to try to keep it balanced, but I also want to get through more romance. So we're going to do one more romance, and then probably call it an episode. Meow! I love the little kitty sounds. Oh, and here we are back at the cliff. You are so weird, Purrfect. Cats don't like swimming. It's too beautiful a day to be slaving in a hot lab, so when Murph invited me for a stroll, it was easy to say yes. Not that I needed much incentive to spend time with him. He's very engaging company. You're really starting to worry me, Lydia. I mean, I know this is the whole conceit of the game and all, but you don't know that. We've come to one of my favorite spots where the cliff sweeps upward above the blue water. Suddenly, and without any warning, McMurphy plunges over the top of the towering rocks. I run to the cliff's edge with my heart in my mouth to see what's happened, and there's a sight I still haven't got used to. He's in the water, more otter than cat, waving me to follow. Jump, Kara, jump! Sure, the water's grand! McMurphy! I'm shocked by the shrillness of my voice. I hadn't intended it to be quite such a shriek. I was aiming for stern admonishment. That's so dangerous! You could do yourself serious injury, or worse, from such a height. Oh, pish! Come on, Kata, or you won't get to see the little surprise I have in store. You've already surprised me enough for one day. Ha! Which one of us is meant to be the... Oh, it's mean, Murph. At this, I am filled with an indignance that takes over my body. Before I know it, I am halfway between ledge and water, bracing for impact. Yeah, that's it. He called you a name, so you did what he wanted. You are so independent, Lydia. I love you. This why... That wasn't Irish. I'm still catching my breath as McMurphy's head disappears under the surface. My mind is saying, no, this is ridiculous, get back to the land this instant, but my body is following the Irish cat. Oh, neat, it's a shipwreck. My eyes take a moment to adjust, but when they do, I can hardly believe what I'm looking at. It's a ship. As we approach from the stern, it looks pretty much intact. I can see the name on the rear port side, and though faded and worn away in parts, the words are unmistakable. Kitty's Desire. My head is swimming due to the excitement and lack of oxygen. I flounder to the surface to catch my breath. Kitty's Desire? I feel like I know that name. McMurphy eventually bobs up to join me on the surface. Surprised? A shipwreck? Here? This is a very old island, Kara. A lot has happened here. But how did a ship even get here before the path was made? Hey, don't ask me, Kara. I'm just in it for the grog. McMurphy smiles and dives back into the murky depths. I follow, a flailing flesh bag in comparison to Murphy's sleek figure. I try to get a closer look at the wreckage. It's a big ship, likely a trading vessel, judging from the size. It's hard to tell how old it is, but it certainly isn't modern, maybe 18th, 19th century. When we enter the ship from a huge hole in the stern, I realized a lot of the vessel is actually on land. It's obvious that it ran ashore after it was damaged at sea. There's not much time to ponder the mechanics of what happened, as McMurphy is tugging at my t-shirt with his right paw, while gesturing with his other paw outstretched, to a cabin he wants me to enter. I'm grateful for the air trapped inside it, and gasp for breath. Here, Carter, look! Hang on, let me catch my... But he's already ducked into the next cell. How is he not out of breath? I realize his ability to swim underwater is unusually strong, but he barely breaks the surface at all. In here, through the hole. He sounds really excited, and as I enter, I see why. There, in the center of the cabin, is a chest. It's wedged between the wall and a surprisingly well-preserved writing desk, the only thing preventing it from falling and being buried in the sand. A treasure chest! I sound like a giddy child and feel embarrassed, but McMurphy joins in my glee, and suddenly we're cheering and laughing together. Go on then, open it, Kara! Yippee! Okay! What are you waiting for? The key? Ah, does it need one? Oh, of course it does, Murph. It's a locked treasure chest. Can you not just break the lock? Who do you think I am, Houdini? I don't know about that, but I do know you're a very clever scientist whose thirst for knowledge matches my thirst for grog. So you get yours and I'll go get mine. The Moggy grins before darting into the next cabin, and I hear the familiar clinking of bottles shortly after. I decide to try the lock anyway while Murphy is getting his. I look around for something anything I could lever it with, and am disappointed. Everything except the chest and desk must have washed away a long time ago. We'll have to come back with some tools to tackle that, Lockmurph. There comes no response. McMurphy is obviously still busy with his looting and pillaging, so I decide to swim to the beach to get a better look at this wreck from the land. When I can take the scene in properly, I can make out what looks like another large ship just a bit further down the beach. I can hardly believe what I'm seeing. One huge sea vessel finding its way to this island is strange enough. But two? Meeting the same unhappy fate is more than my brain can process. The proximity of the pair would suggest a collision of some kind. Possibly the second vessel could have been a pirate ship. Maybe it was attacking the merchant vessel? I get the feeling I'm looking at the conclusion of a very interesting story here. Wonder why Professor Popper didn't tell me about it. Obviously, he must be aware of these two vessels. My nose for intrigue has started to twitch, and I am burning to know more. I decide to take some of the debris, splinters, and small chunks of metal and pocket it for later analysis in the lab. When I'm satisfied that I've thoroughly combed the beach for specimens and have salvaged anything of interest, I realize I haven't seen McMurphy for quite a while. My heart stops and the hairs on my neck stand on end. How could I have been so wrapped up in my work that I neglected to keep an eye on my friend? Oh no! McMurphy? I better not have to do cat CPR. I'm met with silence and still water. I run back towards Kitty's Desire, my heart thumping in my chest. McMurphy! I jump in the sea and swim back to the stern of the ship. There doesn't seem to be any life around here. I break through the surface with a choke and try to call out again, but my throat is hoarse and full of salt water. What? Where? I catch sight of a shadow out of the corner of my eye crawling along the seabed. I dive under to get a better look and see instantly it's the Irish cat, stalking and prowling as if he were on land. I quickly grab him by the scruff of the neck and drag him back to shore. You tell him, Kata. McMurphy, you loon, what on earth were you playing at? I catch my breath and check on him, but he's happily rolling on his back in the sand. Me? I was having a grand time until you manhandled me with those big meaty paws of yours. You know what? I'm mad at you. You made me worry. What? Having a what? Calm down, Kata. You look like you're gonna pop. You've been under the water for ages. I didn't see you come up for air once. I have been blessed with fantastic breathing apparatus. But I didn't know that, did I? And you were worried about me? Ah, Kara, now that is very touching indeed. I feel like a damsel in distress rescued by a charming... I don't allow him to finish his sentence. Yes, turn it around on him! You may think you're very clever and funny, but let me assure you that no one else here is laughing. Jumping off cliffs without warning and drinking while you're swimming, not very clever at all. I wasn't drinking while I was swimming. That would be impossible. I know. I tried. The more cross I am, it seems, the more amusing McMurphy finds it. You may not realize it, mister, but I have a duty of care towards you. All of you cats. So if something happens to me, you're afraid I'll get into trouble? Aw, and there was me thinking you care for me because you like me. He's deliberately turning this around and it infuriates me further. Stop being so manipulative. You know how much I care for you. Of course I do. But you can be very tricky too, you know. Shall we open this? He's reached over to a bottle of grog he's taken from the wreck. You look like you could use something to take the edge off. No, McMurphy, I do not want any of that. Thank you very much. So what is it that you do want, Kara? He flashes me a rayfish grin. I want you to stop being quite so reckless. You'll give me a heart attack. Well, much as your heart is of considerable concern to me, Kara, I'm afraid I can't promise to stop being what I am. It's like asking the wind to stop blowing. The wind does stop blowing sometimes. He lets out a long laugh. You really are a scientist, Kara. Nothing will ever change that, eh? I understand what he's saying. I need to allow him to do his own thing. Okay, come on then, let's start heading back. Actually, Kara, you go on ahead. I'll catch up with you later. He winks, and I am in no doubt as to what he wants to do for the rest of the day. Fun though. Anyway, so that's gonna do it for this episode. I'm just gonna make her rest real quick. If something interesting happens, we'll find out. You had a lovely nap and wake up feeling revitalized. Nope. Your energy's been restored. Magic! So there we go. We will come back to this. Obviously, this isn't a day. These are just events that happen during the rest of my work time. So that's good to know. Just real quick, we will check romance. Nope, Snooty Booty's still brokenhearted. I guess I'm stuck with McMurphy till the end of this chapter. I guess we'll find out. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. We'll tune in for the next. Let me know what cat you want me to go for next time they give me a choice. And as always, keep on gaming.